Okay. Hi, everyone. Looks like Jennifer has dropped off. Perfect time for me to step in. I would really love, if you can, to turn your cameras on. So for those of you who are able to, put your cameras on. Good evening, everyone. Hey, Besoye, great to see you. Hi. Welcome, everyone. I'm going to get us started because I think Jennifer has dropped off, and actually it was just me that she was going to introduce. So before I get started, I want to say hi to everyone. I'm actually quite excited and at the same time nervous. I always feel this way when I have to do a presentation in class, no matter how many times I do these. And as a matter of fact, I've done this 3 times today. I've had 3 workshops today in my work capacity. So this is the 4th class I will be teaching. So, but I'm very excited because I'm going to be talking about a topic that is my favorite topic to talk about, or one of my favorite topics to talk about, and it's all about intentional living. So today is going to be engaging, ladies and gentlemen. So what that means is that I'm going to need you to have your fingers ready because there are going to be some questions I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to need your responses in the chat. So let's test that. I need you to promise me that if I ask you a question, you are going to engage with me in the chat. All I need you to do right now is to say, I promise. Type it in the chat box. I promise, Banker, I will engage. Type in the chat box, encourage me. Let me see your promises. Let me see that you are going to flow with me today on our sessions. Thank you, NJ. Is it NJ for your promise? Thank you, Joy. Thank you very much. Keep it coming. You people need to be promising me. Good. Thank you, Chika. Thank you, Rosalind. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you so much. So let me get some of my slides, and I'm going to be dipping in and out of the slides today. So let me just check that you can see my screen. Someone give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen and if you can hear me at the same time. Just let me know, Jennifer, that I can be seen and I can be heard. So welcome everyone to the masterclass today, which is all about intentional living. Now, heads up, this is one of a class that I taught many years ago. That is a series of 5 different classes, because when you talk about intentional living, it's actually an art. It is a very nuanced way of living, and we don't have time for all of those series, but I wanted to teach you hopefully something that will be foundational in today's class. So welcome to the art of intentional living. And the idea of today's session is so that you get to really understand what the power of intentionality is in your life. And I have a very simple framework, and I learned this from a mentor of mine many years ago, that taught me a very simple process and framework to ensure that I'm living a life that is intentional. And I've been living from this framework pretty much ever since that time. So today's class is going to teach you 3 aspects of your life that if you tune into it, if you cultivate it, you will learn how to effortlessly become intentional in everything that you do. And this is the secret sauce to help you experience transformation from a place of, everybody repeat after me, from a place of ease and grace. Of course, if you know who I am, you will know that ease and grace is one of my favorite mantras that I love to speak about. And I will tell you more about what that really means in a short while. But ultimately today is about creating a new narrative for your life. Okay, it's about you moving the stumbling blocks and allowing yourself really the opportunity to thrive in this season of your life. So who am I? Apart from being the hype woman for TCGC, I promise you, I have a real job. I have a job, a 9 to 5. I am an executive coach. I am a senior consultant. And I'm going to stop sharing whilst I do the intro. I'm a senior consultant, and I also run a platform called the Mega Woman community. So the Mega Woman community is my passion, is my mandate, is what I feel like I've been called to do and serve. And essentially my dream, my jam, the thing that I love to do best is helping women thrive from a place of ease and grace, from a place of their feminine energy, and how to live impactfully and lead impactfully without the burnout, without the overwhelm, without the exhaustion. So yes, although you see me every week trying to hype you all up, behind all of that is a very serious mandate that I carry. So let's start with a couple of questions. The first thing that I want to ask you before we get started on today's session is, what exactly are you thinking right now? Just drop it in the chat. What was the last thought you had right now? I'm going somewhere. Trust my process. Remember, you promised me you were going to engage with every question that I asked you. So really quickly, what's the last thought you just had like half a second ago? Type it really quickly. No matter how random it was, no matter how silly it was, just type it really, really quickly in the chat. What was the last thing you thought about just now? I see how to navigate traffic. Thank you very much. Purpose, how grateful you are for this community. Love that. Ease and grace. Love that. Thank you. Keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming. The reason why I have asked you that question is because the three things that I'm going to teach you today are pillars that will help you to think about your life in an intentional way. So you're all sharing with me the different things that have come to your mind. Mohammed said, if I can only get 1 million naira right now, or more, I feel you. I totally resonate with that. How to get more money, how to get more energy. Only says, how to know who I am. Fantastic. Thank you so much for keeping to your promises and sharing. Keep going, because I have another question for you. Now, the next question that I have for you is this. If you were to look at yourself right now, just however you are presented, doesn't matter what you're wearing or anything like that. I just want you to take a look at yourself. Just, have a quick look at yourself, okay? What are you wearing right now? I want you to rate yourself, okay? This is a non-judgment zone. Stay with me here. I promise I am going to the promised land with these questions. Rate yourself right now on a scale of 1 to 10. And your 1 is saying that, you know what, Banker, I look absolutely fabulous. In fact, Vogue, come and take a picture of me right now because I'm looking peng. That's 10. Versus number 1, which is, girl, don't even go there. I literally just flung on whatever I could find. I am a hot mess. I beg, leave me. Rate yourself really quickly in the chat on a scale of 1 to 10. Where are you ranking yourself? Are you a 1, a 5, a 10? Just rank it really, really quickly. Really, really quickly in the chats. What are you ranking yourself right now? Not how you dressed when you went to your O1 bed on Friday, how you are looking in this present moment. So I see 4s, I see joggers and sweats, I see 5s, 8s, 4s, 6, 8s, 3s, 5, 0. It's okay. This is a no judgment zone. Thank you very much. Omar Joyce says the wig is off. We are keeping it real in the building. Thank you very much, everyone. One more question I have for you. Stay with me, ladies and gentlemen. One more question. And that question is this. I want you to take 30 seconds to scan your current environment. Wherever you are watching this session tonight, just take 30 seconds and scan your environment, okay? And I want you to just take a look at it and then tell me one word that you would use to describe what your current environment is. Just in one word, okay? For me, I'm seeing laundry, okay? Because in my environment right now, both of my children have just come to dump their clothes for me to do the laundry. So I am going to say that my one word is laundry. Or if I really want to be real with you lot, I would say messy. Okay, so I want you to tell me one word. I see chaos, I see salon, I see peaceful, I see fabulous, I see stunning, rush, cluttered. Excellent. Now, you might be asking back, okay, where are we going with all of this? How far with the questions? How does that have, what does that have anything to do with me living an intentional life? What's all these questions? Why are you being nosy, Banker? Why are you trying to get up all in my business? It's very simple. The reason why I've started with those questions is because the very first thing that I want to share with you today is that to live an intentional life is the equivalent of a lifestyle design. And so today's learning outcome is about how you can live an intentional life based on the way you see life, the way you feel about life, but ultimately the way you see and feel about yourself. And the reason why this is important, and when I learned this from my mentor, it made life so simple for me in terms of living intentionally. Because I got to understand this very simple principle that your self-image, the way you show up in your mind, the way you show up in your body, the way you show up in your environment is always reflecting how your life and the quality of the experiences you will have in your life. It is directly related. And you might be saying to me, Banky, I'm not sure about that. So hang in there. Let me tell you why I say that. I'm going to stop sharing because I want to change my slides in a second. So just hang in there with me. Okay, so I've asked you 3 questions, and I've said to you that to live an intentional life, it is very important that you understand that it's about designing your life. And the way you design your life is based on how your self-image is portrayed. The way in which you see yourself is directly related to the quality of the experiences and the outcomes you have. And those 3 questions that I asked you, rather much in jest, was actually a series of questions that are in part a reflection of how your self-image is, a reflection of how you can consistently be living in the same way and having your self-image reflect to you in a particular way. And so what we're going to learn now is, in order for you to live an intentional life, what are some of the changes that you need to make so that your self-image impacts you in the way that you desire? The truth of the matter is this: your self-image is going to have an impact on the kind of money you make. Someone said they wish they had 1 million naira right now. Your self-image has a role to play in that request. The relationships that you have, the level of happiness or not that you have, the way you treat yourself, your health, your well-being, how people treat you, how you treat other people, even your careers and your goals, everything starts with your view of yourself. So what does that mean? If you're struggling, whether it's weight loss, whether it's your job, whether it's your relationship, whether it's your passion, whether it's your friends, whether it's whatever it is that you got going on in your life, if it's a form of drama, I want you to understand that the first place that you get to start living a life of intention is through the lens of your self-image. And what does your self-image contain? Your self-image contains those 3 elements that I talked about. Those 3 elements that I talked about is your mind, what we call your style, but ultimately how you show up in the world, and your surroundings. And I'm going to explain that a little bit further with you. So just pausing for a second, I want you to read this statement here. You can decide on a new self-image. You can decide that each day you will get up with intentionality and you will show up as the best version of yourself every single day in your life. And now we're going to talk about how to do that. How do we start that? Self-image is so much more than your fashion and your style. Now, if you are Nigerian like me, You are probably used to going to a lot of Owambe parties. So I can actually say that I think the majority of us, whether you're Nigerian or you're not Nigerian, looking at some of your pictures, fashion isn't not your problem. The way you style yourself isn't your problem. So styling and self-image are not necessarily one and the same. It's a part of it. But what really is at the heart of self-image, ladies and gentlemen, is how you feel in yourself. Is how you feel in yourself and how aligned that is to the vision that you hold for yourself. Many of us can go to parties, we're looking great, we're wearing our suits, we're wearing our head ties, our makeup is on point, our shoes are shining, our suit is and tie is on point, our native is on point. But do we feel that really on the inside? Are we the full embodiment of success on the inside and how we feel? Because if we are not, we are ultimately going to attract only the level of which our self-image is at. And I learned this from my mentor. She says, your self-image is about how you think about and how you see yourself. So it's beyond how fashionable you are. That's like the basic level. Your self-image is always reflecting to you how you show up in your life. It's always reflecting to you how you think about life and how you see life, but also how you feel about life. And the primary way to know this is through your words. Many of us will be familiar with what we call the I am statements. If you've been in TC Circle for a long time, you will definitely have heard him teach this principle. This is a principle I learned many years ago, but ultimately, it is a principle that the way in which you speak directly has an impact on the way you create the experiences in your life. Here's the challenge that most of us have. Most of us use I am statements in a way that contradicts the kind of life we desire. In other words, we speak without intention. We speak without necessarily thinking that actually what I am saying is creating my life. It is forming my identity. And so if you want to live an intentional life, the very first thing that has to change is the mindset. And this is where I'm going with our session today. But take a look at this screen really quickly, guys. And I want you to read some of these statements and just share in the chat, which one have you been guilty of saying from time to time? Just drop it in there really quickly. Which one have you found yourself saying regularly? We've all said this in one way or another. Which one is your regular go-to? I'd love to see it in the chat. I'm overwhelmed, I'm struggling, I'm tired, I'm fed up. I'll put my hand up there. My own is I'm fed up. I cannot shout. I cannot come and kill myself. I beg. Which other ones show up for you? I'm confused, I'm busy, I'm all over the place, I'm scared, I'm not good enough, I'm broke, overweight. Which one do you find yourself saying? Let me see really quickly in the chat. What ones do you find yourself saying? Drop it really quickly in the chat. Remember, this is a no judgment zone, okay? No judgment zone. I'm tired. Many of us use that phrase all the time. I'm tired. I'm struggling, overwhelmed. Lots of tired. I see lots and lots of tired. Someone says the regular one that they say is overwhelmed. The regular one that they say is busy, right? But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. These words are not creating the desired outcomes that you want for your life. It is in direct contrast to what it is that you are praying for, what it is that you are trusting God for, what it is that you are hoping God for. Someone said, I wish I could have ₦1 million right now. But if you say the statement, I am broke, you've canceled out that wish. That ₦1 million is not coming anywhere near your door because your words have created a reality for you. And this is so important when you think about living an intentional life. At the end of the session, hopefully, I'm going to share some practical things to make this really relevant. But let's start with the foundation. The foundation is this: how you speak and think about your life will absolutely create the outcomes of your life. And this is why I love the work that the catalyst does, because his whole entire process, his whole entire purpose is to help us to change our minds. In fact, his strapline is that he transforms lives by transforming minds. And why is that? It's because we have this understanding that if your mind is not in the right space, you cannot create from an expanded space. So what does this really mean, Banker? Where are we going? In a nutshell, it's very simple. If your self-image, which is composed of your mindset, which is composed of how you show up physically in the world, which is composed of what you surround yourself with, if it does not match your desires, the things that you pray all night for, the things that you're working so hard for, the things that you are aspiring so hard for, if there is a misalignment, you will only get the results that the level of your self-image is at. And I remember when I heard that statement, it's like my whole brain sparked. That you cannot create results beyond your self-image. You cannot create results beyond the level at which your mind is set. You cannot create results beyond which you show up to represent. You cannot create results if your environment is not conducive or consistent with the image that you are looking for. So what's the shift? To create a new life for yourself, you have to be able to see it. You have to be able to feel it, but it has to be done in a new way. In other words, you need to be deliberate about this new life. And this is what I want to teach you. The secret to living an intentional life is to be the version of your future self now. I call this the embodiment of your future self. What does that mean? It means that when you have an image of who you are, who you desire to be, what you desire to have, and you embody that image, not in one day, sometime when, but you embody that image in your present now, and you begin to show up like that person now. You begin to speak like that person now. You begin to surround yourself with the things that that person would surround themselves with. That's when you start to live a life of purpose, intentionality, and alignment. So let me break it down as we get ready to round up. I'm just checking my time, perfect timing. How do we do this? Very simply, 3 ways. These are 3 pillars. If you understand these 3 pillars, you are automatically starting the art of intentional living. Pillar 1 is mindset. Invest in your mind. You are all investing in your mind by being on this call today. So give yourselves a round of applause. Drop in the emoji, an emoji in the chat box, clapping for yourself. Oh yeah, everybody clap for yourself. You are already investing in your mindset. If you are in any space where the catalyst operates, you are already investing in your mindset. If you have taken any of the catalyst classes, you are already investing in your mindset. And if you have not taken any of his classes, good news, by the end of today's class, Jennifer is going to tell you a host of different classes that you can take to help you invest. But the key pillar here is that to live an intentional life, the number 1 thing you must get right is the way in which you think. You have to think on purpose. Your brain has to be trained to look for the evidence of that which it has seen in the far future and find it in your present. Even the Bible tells us this. I'm really bad with the scriptures, but somebody should put in the chat the scripture that says that faith is the evidence of, somebody finish it, or all the pastors in the house. oh yeah, help me to finish off that scripture. But there's an element of having to bring into your reality the things that you are desiring, and you do that through your mind. When your mind clocks onto what it is you're needing to do, what it is you're looking for, there's a thing that is called the reticular activating system in our brain. Let me stop for a second. How many of us drive? Just give me a wave of hand or let me know in the chat. How many of you drive? Okay. Think back before you had the car that you drove. Just think back before you were driving that your Rolls Royce, Coach Collins, that your Rolls Royce, that your Maybach, before you had that car. I want you to tell me how many times you saw that car that you drove. Chances are it wasn't even on your radar. You didn't even know that the car existed. But there's a curious thing that happens with the brain. The moment that we become focused on something, it's like all of a sudden the brain is an algorithm that brings everything that is relevant to that focus in your purview. So if you've ever owned a car and realized that the moment you bought the car, that's when you see everybody driving the exact same car, same color, almost the same registration, that is your reticular activating system at play. Meaning that when your brain is focused on something, it is wired biologically, chemically, or biophysically, whatever the science is, it is wired to bring into your filters the things that align with it. This is why part of living an intentional life is about getting the mindset right. If I'm landing, just drop in the chat box, landing. Just let me know that I'm landing. Let me know that I'm making sense. I see our pastors in the house have already shared the scriptures. Thank you, Pastor Ann. Hebrews 11:1. Esho. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So pillar one, to live an intentional life, your mind must be right. The words you speak must align. You must think on purpose. You have to train your brain to look for the evidence of the things that you desire. You have to elevate your mind every single day. Pillar two, to live an intentional life, you have to be mindful of your style. Now, remember, I said your style is not just about how you're physically showing up, the makeup, the lashes, the nails, the gilly, and all of that. It's only a small part of it. The real essence is not just about how you dress. It's a major component. So for those of us who, we don't show up in our full glorious self just because we can't be bothered, just because we don't feel good, that's an area for you to address. But when I talk about style, I'm talking about your essence. I'm talking about, are you that kind of man or woman when you enter into the room, everybody just stops because there's a presence that you carry. There is a fragrance that you carry, not a physical fragrance, but a vibe, an aura, an energy that you carry. Because how you show up, how you dress, how you groom, your body language, your verbal communications, your non-verbal communications, what you are like behind closed doors, as well as how you are in public, all of it is an aspect of the essence of your being. And guess what? Your style is telling a story. Your style, how you physically present yourself every single day, day in, out. I don't even need to hear anything that you're saying. Your essence, the way you are embodied in your clothes, the way you show up in your clothes will tell a story to the world. The question is, what type of story do you want the world to know? The third pillar is surroundings. This is so, so critical. I think there is a piece of research that says your 5 closest people will kind of impact the kind of person you are, will influence how you show up in the world, with the kind of success that you are. That's part of your surroundings. When you think about your surroundings, it is also reflecting the image back to you. And I often say this to my son, who's 16, when his room is in a mess, I say to him, you've just shown me what the state of your mind is. because your surroundings reflect back to you what is going on inside of you. Your home, your car, the people you spend time with, the books that you read, the podcasts you listen to, the music you listen to, the shows that you watch, the food that you eat, the places you visit, your office, your desk, all of it is speaking a language and a code, and it's reflecting the image back to you. This one is for my ladies next. Your makeup bag. Ladies, your makeup bag. Is it organized? Do you have outdated mascara inside? Do you have those tiny little eyeliner that's almost finished? You can't sharpen again, yet you still don't want to throw it. Is it in your makeup bag? Why am I saying all of these things? Because as silly as those things sound, they represent how your mind is. They represent whether you have capacity to let things go. If you have old, outdated things in your space, do you have an issue with letting things go? If you have everything cluttered all over your room, everything is on top of each other, you can hardly find space on the floor to put your foot down, are you overwhelmed? Are you a hoarder? Are you holding on to things that you should be letting go? So your surroundings speak and send a message to you. How does this link to living an intentional life, Anka? If you are aware of these 3 pillars, you will constantly wake up with the question, what is on my mind? Am I thinking in alignment with my future self? Am I showing up in alignment as my future self? Does my surroundings reflect my future self? If you ask yourselves these questions every single day, it becomes part of an automatic habit that you constantly check yourself to ensure that you are living and making choices in intentional ways. Now, I can hear some of you saying, Banker, this surroundings thing, I'm not sure. Because what if I live in an area that I can't get out of? What if I'm in a relationship that I can't get out of? What if I'm in a job that I can't get out of? Is that not part of my surroundings? So what will I now do? Am I condemned? Does that mean I'm not living intentionally? Does that mean I don't have hope? I have a solution to that problem. Essentially, the solution is this. When you think about how your surroundings are, there are 3 simple things that you can do every day that cost absolutely nothing, but makes a phenomenal impact on your day-to-day life. So anyone who says, but I'm stuck in this situation, I'm stuck in this environment, I can't break through, this is your answer. 3 things to energize your surroundings daily. Number 1, edit. As small as removing this rubbish on the floor, throw it in the bin. That's one thing that you are letting go that you know does not fit into your future self. Maybe it's opening your wardrobe and realizing that there's a pair of jeans that used to be a size 8. As much as you're still trying to believe God that your size 8, you will make it. But for now, how about we give it to charity? How about we release space in that cupboard for new things to come? So one thing that you do in your environment on a daily basis is to think about what can I change? What can I edit? What can I move from this space? How can I make this space look more in alignment with who I am from a future perspective? The second thing is, what can you add? Now, this isn't about going and buying things, but what can you bring into your space that lifts up the energy, that lifts up the vibration? It can be sometimes as simple as just spraying perfume in your environment. It can be as simple as bringing in a cushion from another room and changing things around. The final thing is, what can you enhance? How can you enhance your surroundings? How can you make it different? What small tweaks can you make so that as you are still trying to get out of your current situation, your current circumstances, all is not lost? You see, when we have this kind of mindset, this is what we call a growth mindset. And it's a growth mindset that makes the path for intentional living, because you don't look at your circumstances and become fixated about it. You look at your circumstances and become the creator of your surrounding. So I have a bonus ending for this session. If you would like me to share that bonus, just drop in the chat box. Thank you, bonus. Just let me just drop it in the chat. Very simple, nothing stressful, nothing hard, but very simple. Drop it in the chat box if you want me to share with you a bonus. What I've talked about today is a practical strategy. It's a framework, okay? If you remember this framework, every single day when you wake up in the morning, you're going to check your mindset. When you stand in the mirror, you're going to ask yourself, does this look like the future version of myself? When you walk into your room, when you walk into your office, when you go into your car, you're going to ask yourself, does my surroundings have my highest vibration? So I see that many of you want the bonus. So let me give you the bonus. There's no slide for this. I'm going to freestyle this one. Because one of the things that I really am passionate about is giving people practical tools. I don't like concepts. I don't like abstract things. I like things that make sense. Oh yeah, what will I do tomorrow if I needed to implement this? So I want to share with you three questions that you can ask yourself every single day that will support you with living intentionally. When you wake up in the morning, this is my strategy. You're welcome to take it if you want. When you wake up in the morning, first and foremost, you enter into a space of gratitude. It is not by your doing that you woke up this morning. It is only and exclusively the grace of God that you have lungs you have air in your lungs to breathe. So your first thing is you wake up with that sense of gratitude. Lord, thank you for a new day. You open the blinds and you appreciate the sun. You appreciate the birds. Whatever it is, you find yourself in a space of gratitude. And then you take 3 deep breaths. I like to call this the sacred pause. Everyone type in the chat box, sacred pause, because that's something that I want to anchor into your understanding. The sacred pause is when you just stop and you take nice deep breaths. You take a deep breath in through your nose and you breathe it out. I do this 3 times every morning as soon as I wake up. And once I've done that, my body kind of finds its calibration. You find that your body actually vibrates. And you find that there's a buzzing. You actually feel your vibration. And then I ask myself 3 questions. The first question is this: what do I need most today? What do I need the most today? And this question is loaded. This question is not about your to-do list. This question is not about your priorities. This question is not about how many minutes of one things to do. This question is an internal question that helps you to stay in alignment. It tunes you into the spirit of man inside of you. And when you ask yourself, okay, what do I need the most? Sometimes, you know what you need the most is rest. Sometimes what you need the most is to not answer that phone call. Sometimes what you need the most is to tell your children, let mommy have 5 minutes. Let daddy have 5 minutes. I'm busy. Sometimes what you need the most is to tell that person no. But when you ask yourself that question, is an invitation for you to tell yourself the truth and to honor the truth that you tell yourself. The second question that I love to ask is, what do I need? How do I want to feel as I move through my day? What is the feeling that I want to have? I want to feel vibrant. I want to feel energized. I want to feel happy. I want to feel bold. I want to feel courageous. What is that feeling that I want to have all throughout this day? Because when you understand what you need the most, when you understand how you need to feel to get through the day, you begin to look out for those things. Again, your brain has lodged in your head the things that it needs to start finding evidence for you for. And we've seen that when your brain and your feelings are in alignment, it actually cannot tell the difference. So if you are cultivating a feeling of happiness, even when you are in a mess, your brain will not recognize the mess. Your brain will only recognize the physiological sensations that is going through your body. And then the final question that I like to ask myself, so there are 3 questions. The first question is what? What do I need the most today? The second question is, how do I want to feel throughout the day? And then the third question is, what are the elements, what are the attributes that will help me with these 2 things that I've asked? If I say I want to be productive today, what do I need to do? How do I need to be grounded? Do I need to put my phone on do not disturb so that I can be focused? Do I need to actually call that person and say, oh, I have to reschedule that meeting? What do I then need to do to help me to embody these 2 questions that I've answered? If you get into the practice of daily reflection, this is actually journal prompts that I've given you. I've given you 3 journal prompts that you can ask yourself every single day. And I guarantee you, your answers will always be different. No one day will have the exact same answer because you're always in a dynamic and new flow. But when you have those 3 questions as a daily morning routine, it automatically sets you up for living a life of intention. You make more careful decisions. You make what I call curated decisions, meaning you gather the things that you need, that you gather the things that align with these 3 answers, and you begin to operate from those spaces. Ladies and gentlemen, I can go on forever about the art of intentional living because it is my jam. It's how I live on an everyday basis. There are many, many different frameworks. But if you can learn these 2 things, 2 aspects that I've taught you today, you will definitely be ready to live an intentional life from an aligned space, a purpose-driven space, and from a mind that is renewed in alignment with the direction that you have been called in. And on that note, bang on 18:45, my class is done. Any questions, please unmute, put them in the chat. Otherwise, I will hand over to Jennifer. If you have any questions, let me know. If this has landed, encourage me, clap for me now. Give me hearts now. Give me fire bombs now. How about? Thank you very much.
Let's show Coach Banker so much love. That's the queen of ease and flow. Well done, Banker. Thank you so much, so much. I love it. Simple but yet powerful. Like the catalyst will always say, that sometimes it may not even be ignorance. It is what you know that you despise, that you disdain, that's actually holding you back. So Banker has shown us a lot of practical tools that each person can use. And why I love them, they are free. They are free. You can use them to change and master your life at any time. Banker, that's wonderful. I also love when you talked about I am. Like the catalyst will also say, I am is a programming language. It's just like Java, it's just like Tabulu, Python, and all that, right? And if you are a human being and you were born on Earth, and you have been cultured here on Earth, you have used I am statement to unlock yourself, right? And that's why I want to invite you to come into our sharp class where we'll help you um, reaffirm and change the I am statements that hold you back. If you're held back financially, you're held back in terms of health, or everything is not just going right for you, I'm going to invite you to come into our sharp class that's going to help you heal and take you back to wholeness. When sickness comes, it's because the body or the system has forgotten the memory of what wholeness is. So the first 2 days, what we call sharp of this class, it started on Friday, Saturday, is restoring you back to wholeness and harmony, right? So sharp is the science of healing, abundance, restoration, and peace. Who doesn't need healing? Who doesn't need abundance? Who doesn't need healing, right? And peace. We all need it. So please click that link and make sure you're in that class, right? And if you know any person who is struggling, please invite them to that class. Sponsor somebody, pay for somebody, and let them come into class to come and get that healing. Then for those of you who want to also help people heal yourself and also help people heal, the class still extends to what we call emotional freedom techniques. So sharp is the first 2 days, while On the remaining 2 other days, we teach you how to now begin to heal. We teach you the technicalities and the practicalities. So if you want to be a therapist, one of the easy ways to make money from therapy, right? Like I often tell people, 50 to 60% of the intervention I do personally are energy psychology based, or in EFT, as we would say. So I want to invite you. Are you sick? Do you want wholeness in your life, financially, mentally, in terms of just want that overall harmony in your life? Make sure you're in that sharp class and invite your friends, right? The class is filling up. After Thursday, I'm not taking any registrations. So you have between now and Thursday to be in that class, right? So EFT, and I think Jennifer has also dropped it. My number is there. Her number is there. Okay, my number is missing the last, just one number one at the end, right? Be in that class, and you'll thank me for it. I want to thank everyone for showing up. But the numbers are going down. That means we're not inviting friends. We're not gingering ourselves. We're not inviting people, right? Here should be full. YouTube should be full, so that we're able to pass this message across. This message is not only for the catalyst, it's a message for you and I. It's all our mandate. Because if the world is saner, it benefits you. If the world is well, a little bit more well, a little bit more sane, a little bit more whole, it all benefits all of us, right? So I want to thank you all for showing up. We'll be here same time Tuesday to meet another fantastic speaker, and we'll take on another topic. So I want to thank everyone for showing up, and do have a pleasant evening, and see you tomorrow in Clubhouse. And when you're coming next time, on your cameras, it's only myself, Onyi, and Banke that put on your camera. Banke is very nice. If I was the one, I would off my camera. All me, you are just putting your camera. So please, next time when we are coming, please, let's all, because interactive. You give energy to the speaker, he also sends energy to you, right? And we begin to know ourselves, and learn from one another. So thank you all, and see you on Tuesday, and see you Tuesday next week, and see you tomorrow on Clubhouse. Divine Adiola, great to see you. I'm seeing you for the first time. Great to see you. So please, guys, let's always put on our camera so that we can always bounce off energies off each other. So thank you, and God bless you all. Bye bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.